I've been thinking a lot about this topic, and it's something that I finally feel I want to start expressing on the podcast. Because today we are getting into one of my biggest fears, and it's a fear that I have worked through on so many different levels. There's this saying in entrepreneurship that I'm sure you've heard before, and it's that every single level has another devil. And in my life, this particular fear, this particular thing that I have worked through has had so many different levels to it. And over the last year in 2024, when I was writing my book, Magnetic, this fear that I had to work through came up in so many multiple ways. And it was really interesting for me to witness because my book Magnetic is all about the subconscious mind. And this particular fear of mine that we're going to talk about today is such a subconscious fear, not only in myself, but in our collective consciousness. We are talking about the fear of being seen. Where do I even begin? If I'm honest with you, I gaslit myself for years and years that I did not have a fear of being seen. And it's actually a really interesting story of figuring out one of the things that you thought was your greatest strength was actually one of your greatest weaknesses. So look, I have always been someone that has loved being on stage. I've loved talking, I've loved presenting, I've loved putting myself out there. Since I was a little kid, I was always the drama kid. I was the one doing plays. I was the one doing speech at Stedfords. I just absolutely loved doing anything to do with being on a stage. And because of that, I have always had this vision in my head that this is my strong suit. I'm a super confident person. I'm not allowed to feel nervous about being seen. I'm not allowed to have any sort of resistance or blocks in this area because this is something that has always come naturally to me. And throughout most of my early 20s, when I was doing modeling and presenting and when I was a DJ, I did not have a fear of being seen. I was able to get up in the middle of a giant shopping center and I was able to MC on a stage and basically instruct all of these different performances while during the breaks of all these different performances, able to DJ. And I was just this very multi-talented entertainer. And I was very fearless in this aspect of my career. And it wasn't until my mid-20s when I decided to basically deep dive into meditation and spirituality. And I decided to completely pivot my career from working in entertainment to working in personal growth, spirituality, and wellness, that this fear of being seen actually really started to develop and fester. And it's such an interesting thing that my soul work, my dharma, the thing that brings me the most fulfillment is actually the thing that I have felt most blocked around. And I've done a lot of subconscious deep diving into why this might be. And I think some of it comes from my parents. I love my parents. I love my dad, but I think there is like a deep part of me that has existed of feeling as though I wouldn't be accepted for my spiritual side by my parents because I was raised in a very kind of atheist family that was very unspiritual and very disconnected from a lot of the things that I feel really connected to. And me opening up about my spirituality and becoming a more spiritual person felt like I was separating myself from, I guess, my core subconscious programming. And there's that. And then I feel like there's also this deep fear within me that I've had since I was a little kid around getting things right. If you've read my book Magnetic or you've listened to this podcast for a while, you would know that I'm really open about being dyslexic. I've had dyslexia since I was little, since I can remember. When I was young, I had to work with a speech pathologist to even learn how to pronounce and say certain words because I wasn't able to read them. I was always in the slow class growing up, and academically, I've always felt really challenged. I like to think I'm a pretty talented creative person, but when it comes to the academic side, I've always always had this level of distrust with myself. I've always felt like I've got things wrong or I have to double check things. And there's this nervousness that comes from within me whenever I put something out in the world, because I don't want to be seen as getting it wrong. And I want to make sure what I put out into the world is right. Because I feel like in this space, in the wellness, subconscious mind, manifestation, meditation space, I don't want to be spreading false information. I don't want to be spreading, air quotes here, fake news. So those are two of the things that I can subconsciously see inside of me that have championed and I guess grown this inner fear of being seen. I also feel like when I started working in the spiritual space, that's when I actually really started deeply caring about my work. I feel like when I used to be in the entertainment space, I definitely cared about putting on a good show and doing a good job for my clients, but I didn't feel like it was coming from a sense of fulfillment and of like purpose within me. It was more just me using my talents on something that I was good at to fulfill an economic need for someone that needed a presenter or a DJ. Whereas when I'm working in the spiritual and wellness space, I feel like this is my purpose that is flowing out. And because I have put a lot of importance on that purpose and I have a lot of care for how it is interpreted, this fear of being seen has really festered within me. And for me, this fear of being seen has been something that I have had to work through time and time again. And when I started writing my book last year, it probably was, alongside money, the biggest thing that I was feeling blocked with. And there was a lot of shadow work and soul work to do on this area. And one of the most beautiful things I believe about life is that the things that we go through, the things that we're challenged by, the things that are hard, are often the things that we have the most amount to be able to teach when it comes to other people. They are the things that we are able to relate with other people around because we've actually been where they are. So for the last 18 months, I have been deep diving into the fear of being seen. I have been unraveling it within myself. I have been reprogramming my subconscious mind. I have been creating for myself personal tools to reprogram the part of me that feels shame, that feels scared, that feels nervous, to really recode my whole entire being, to be able to be a fearless creator, to be able to rise to the level of my dreams without crumbling on the inside. It's really interesting, I feel, when it comes to a lot of the work that you can do on yourself, because in this day and age, there is so much information out there around being seen or fears or the subconscious mind. And logically, we can understand all of these things. But somatically, unless you're actually doing that deep inner work, that subconscious reprogramming work, that shadow work, that embodiment work, to actually move through the fear and to be able to recode your vessel to actually hold the new levels of things that you desire, you're going to just be met with challenge after challenge, and you're going to know everything and put yourself in these situations where you're like, I shouldn't have any fears in this because logically know what the problem is, but you're not actually able to move through it because you haven't done the work to be able to hold the embodiment of being seen on the level that you desire. And this was something that happened to me when I was writing my book. I was like, I know why I have this fear. I know where this comes from. I know why I'm feeling blocked around this. And I was logically trying to, I guess, analyze my way out of it. I was overthinking and underfeeling. And it wasn't until I started creating new hypnosis tracks for myself, creating sleep subconscious reprogramming tracks for myself, creating visualizations, meditations, and really starting to work through exposure exercises that I was able to make a real tangible shift in this area. And it's really got me thinking, because overcoming my own fears and limitations around being seen in doing my soul work has made me realize how so many people are holding back their potential to be able to help, to be able to serve, to be able to get out there and do what they love because they have this deep subconscious fear around being seen, because they haven't yet learned how to embody and embrace their magnetic energy. Because you're already magnetic. This is something I always say on this podcast. I don't believe that we become magnetic. I believe that we are magnetic. But the thing is, a magnet has two poles. You can attract and you can repel. So you have magnetic energy towards being seen already, but your magnetic energy might just be repelling magnetic energy, when really what you need to do is you need to do that work to be able to switch the polarization so you can be in attracting magnetic energy. And this is the work that I have been doing on myself. And I have decided, after taking a lot of time to think and reflect and move through a lot of my own work, that this is really a new chapter of the work that I want to do out in the world. And I had this really funny thing happen this year that I think is so interesting. So for the longest time, I have had this list of goals. I guess there's a bucket list for my career that I've been ticking off one by one. On that bucket list, there have been things like launch a podcast, launch a mental wellness company, build an app, write a book, create a retreat center, launch this retreat concept. Like, these are all things that the little girl inside of me has dreamed up and wanted to create. But ever since I published Magnetic and Magnetic went out into the ether, I feel like the things that have been pulling me towards them to create are now tools to help other people do things that are similar to me. This whole entire area around being safe to be seen is something that I desire to do to help other people that want to be doing soul work. I keep thinking about how many people there are out there that listen to podcasts like this, or watch personal development YouTube channels, or read books, that have a desire, like a burning desire, to become a coach, to write a book, to launch a podcast, to start creating content, to launch a business, to put a retreat out in the world, or to speak, or to do anything in this like creative field that is helping other people. And yet this fear inside of them, this subconscious fear around being seen, is the one thing that is holding them back. It is the one thing that is blocking their abundance. Because if they could just feel confident, feel safe, feel peace, putting themselves out there, then all of a sudden it would all fall into place. The content would be published, the drafts would be empty, the emails would go out, the podcasts would be published, the books would be written. These things will flow out of you when you start feeling safe to be seen. And I know this firsthand, because almost every single time that I experienced writer's block while writing my book Magnetic, I could pinpoint that writer's block back to some internal fear around not feeling safe to be seen in the writing, not feeling safe to put out the words that I was writing on paper, not feeling safe to be seen as an author. So I have done so much work on this topic within myself that now I'm just like, you know what? I have overcome so many internal hurdles, so many subconscious programs that were all bundled up and linked in this area, that I just have to start helping other people with it. Like, it is something that I just need to do. Anyway, so this is why I have been in the process for some time now, creating and crafting a very powerful brand new live program that I'm going to do in cohorts that is all around helping people feel safe to be seen. And this program is pretty massive. It is something that I am pouring a lot of time and energy into. And it's not a program that is just focusing on one block or one area. I have really dissected and studied this subconscious fear, not only in myself, but in other people. And I'm creating a collection of tools specifically on this area to help people move through this block for good. Because I really, truly believe that when good people like you and me start feeling safe to be seen, to put our art, to put our work out into the world, then oh my gosh, the impact that that has on our collective consciousness is it's electric. It is so exciting. It is one of the things that I want to be part of during my time on earth. I keep thinking about myself as like an 80-year-old, sitting in my deck chair, like looking out into the ocean, thinking about the work that I did. And if I can look back and know that I impacted people's ability to be able to use their voice in a way that was authentic to them, to be able to put their art into the world, to be the creative expression of their truth, that is something that I would be so proud of. And it's been a while since I've had an idea like this, and a program idea specifically like this, that has made me feel so just excited, content, but also driven by the end result. Because the idea of having more people that feel safe in themselves to express themselves, like that is something that I want to be part of. It's kind of like, honestly, when you get into a really healthy relationship, if you have ever seen a friend of yours in a really unhealthy relationship and you have seen her just become like a shell of herself, not looking after herself, not her full expression, not saying things the way that she used to, and then you see her go through a breakup and then find like the love of her life that loves her, that cherishes her, that creates like a safe masculine container for her so she can be the authentic version of herself and express her feminine. To me, that is really what it feels like, healing the subconscious block of being seen. Because now I'm in this safe space with this thing that has been so challenging. And I've created so many tools and processes for myself that if ever this fear rears its nasty head, I know what to do. I know how to go in there. I know how to calm my nervous system. I know how to center myself so I can come back to my power and come back to that magnetic energy inside of me that I can use to attract people, to create my art, and just to do the things that I know that I was meant to do on this earth. If you know intuitively that you are made for more, that you are meant to use your voice, you're meant to use your magnetic energy, and you're meant to put yourself out there to be able to unlock the abundance that is waiting for you on the other side of feeling safe to be seen, then this is my call to you. Down in the description box, I have put a survey. It is my Safe to Be Seen survey. And if you fill that out at the end of that survey, you're going to get a discount code for my upcoming workshop on being safe to be seen. Anything that you invest in that workshop is going to be able to be applied to my bigger Safe to Be Seen program that is coming out really soon. I haven't been lit up about a program in a really long time. It has been ages since I have launched a new program, a coaching cohort, or anything like that. For the last year and a bit, I have just poured all of my time into writing, but this is something that was pulling me, it was calling my name, and I am so freaking excited to put out in the world. It is really a collection of the tools that have helped me get to where I am right now, to overcome this fear, to be the embodiment of feeling safe to be seen as I sit here talking to you with a published book, with the ability to get up on podcasts, to be able to create the content that I want, to feel at ease with my own presence, my own art, with my own creativity. It's a gift. It's something that I wish everyone could experience, because when you feel safe in the creation process, when you feel safe putting yourself out there, there is so much wisdom and power that comes from that place. I want to help you move through this. This is the year, this is the time that you start feeling safe to be seen. And how you can start taking action on that today is go down to the description box, click on the survey, my Safe to Be Seen survey, go through those questions, answer them all. I'm going to be taking the answers from that and really ensuring that everything that I have created in this program is going to be solving what is coming up in your mind, in your subconscious, on this whole entire topic. And if you fill out that survey, you're going to be getting more information on what's coming in the whole Safe to Be Seen program, as well as a discount towards everything that is unlocking. So if you at all think that you want to be part of this program and part of everything that I have coming out, then you don't want to miss out on the discount. So make sure you go and fill out that survey. It's going to help me, help you, and I'm excited and lit up about it. Anyway, I am sending you so much love. I can't wait to be talking more about this topic and moving this fear in so many people around the world, because it doesn't deserve to be in good-hearted people like you and me. It's something that we can work through, we can change, we can shift, and it all starts with your subconscious mind. And I'll see you in the next one.
Thank you for joining me for this episode. You can discover more from Mindspo on Instagram and TikTok by following @Mindspo and myself @Rochelle_Fox. If this episode inspired you, then please pass it on and share the love. And lastly, always remember, you create your own reality. So go and make some magic.